Well, hello, everybody. I am so excited about the fact that we're able to just have another episode for the A Few of My Favorite Things podcast. This is the second in person episode that we have done for the series. We had our first one, of course, for the season finale for the second season, where we talked with Dr. J. That was a great conversation. And we're having our second in person conversation for the podcast with Wesley Conder. He is a business major at the University of Southern Mississippi. Like me, he is a junior. And I'm really looking forward to just being able to talk with him today. So, enough from me. Wesley, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. A little tired, but besides that, I'm looking forward to just go ahead and get my day started, getting everything going.
Of course. Sounds good. For me, I'm a little tired as well. Right now, we're kind of halfway through the semester, just finally got through midterms. So it's great that we kind of jumped through that hurdle. But kind of tell the people a little bit about yourself, especially with your time at Southern Miss.
So I am originally from Horn Lake, Mississippi, which is like right up there, like 20 minutes out from Memphis. I came down here because it was one of the cheaper schools in Mississippi, and I didn't really have the option of going to a more expensive school. And so far at USM, I was originally a exercise science major or kinesiology, but I found out the hard way that really wasn't for me, and so I just went with finance and business in general, but. Yeah, and ever since then, like everything's been great. Like I've loved it. Love being a business major. It's awesome. So.
Of course, that's great to hear, and it's really interesting kind of how that process of trying to do introspection and just kind of looking on to what's the best move for me to make kind of just leads people. Because I know for me, it was not necessarily something with a major, but I actually transferred from another institution. I was at another four-year institution. It was known as Samford University. It was in Birmingham, Alabama. I transferred for my sophomore year to USM, and it's kind of interesting how that process kind of leads me to USM, because transfer students are a common occurrence here, but usually not from four-year universities.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting kind of how all of our paths kind of meet up. And I know for us, we actually met through a communications class.
Sure, yeah, professional communications.
Yeah, and that class has definitely been interesting.
It's been a pretty good class though, because I can tell like after every class, after every presentation, like I'm getting more confident, more better at presenting and talking to a group of people. So.
Yeah, but think about it right now. Right now, you're on a podcast, so think of that as an interesting assignment to kind of put what you learned in class into practice.
That is true. That is true. This is my first podcast too, so this is different, very much different.
Yeah, of course, and I must admit you're doing well so far. So no reason to get stressed out or anything. Just think of it as a conversation, really.
I guess appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And another thing I just kind of wanted to talk about was just stuff with the major, stuff with life. So just kind of we'll keep it in that ballpark. So it won't be too complicated, I can assure you.
Okay.
But kind of going back to your major. With in business with an emphasis in finance. How's that been going for you?
Pretty good. I haven't really gotten into my actual finance courses yet, because when I switched from exercise science, I ended up being put back a semester. So actually, after next semester, I'll be able to really start catching up. So I'll be taking summer courses, extra courses during the semester, maybe even an intersession or two. But besides that, the classes that I am taking that are business classes, I love them. They're great. Little bit of a struggle with business analytics, but I think that's with most people in the class at least, because it's kind of complicated.
Right.
Just learning when to use certain formulas, when to bring this one over here, when to use this piece of information, and it's just kind of just picking the moment's notice type of things. But besides that, yeah, it's been great. I love it.
It's really great to hear. And for me, I actually picked up a business administration minor when I transferred. And so I definitely had a few classes within the business program, but it's only really, this is really my third class because, for instance, for the fall 2020 semester, I took an economics class. And then for the spring semester, I took a business law class, and right now I'm in a Management 300 class. Do you recognize the professor, Mr. Russ Willis?
I can't because I have actually yet to take Management 300. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I take that next semester actually.
Okay.
And so, I'll take Management 300, Marketing, Finance 300. Kind of like I guess you say the base business courses right before you start really getting into your major.
Right. Kind of for me, and I guess in my realm of things, I'm a journalism major.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've kind of been doing, especially from last year, even in this year, I'm kind of just taking some of the core classes. For instance, right now I'm sorry about that. Right now I'm doing a photography class.
Mm-hmm.
Last semester I was doing some writing classes. Even the semester before that, in the fall 2020 semester, I was still doing some writing classes. So a lot of core stuff as well. A social media class and basically the reason why I'm kind of doing that with social media to writing to photography is kind of with the emphasis with journalism. It's really built upon now, especially this idea of sort of media convergence, especially with journalists now, especially since everything is digital, everything is not newspaper, ad-based, everything is kind of, on broadcast, on social media. You kind of have to have this element of being able to know how to do more or less everything, especially within this profession. Right. And that's why even if you do have an emphasis, because mine is in broadcast, you kind of have to be able to know how to shoot a camera. You have to be able to know how to kind of conduct yourself on social media and how to promote content and news on social media.
True, especially with the social media part. That's part of the presentations that we have now is like how important social media is, like not only just in society, but like the business point of view to just everything, the news, journalism, everything, like everything that the news that I see now is either through Twitter or through like a finance app. And it's technically like a social media because it's an app right there. So yeah, like social media is so big in our society today. So,
yeah, very true. And especially it's really interesting to see how with social media especially is kind of converged into so many different things, especially in the realm of journalism. I'm not going to kind of hit on this too much, but I would invite you and really the audience listening right now to look up native advertising. And basically, I guess you could say that could appear on social media as well for a lot of news organizations, but it often appears on their websites. And essentially what native advertising is it's a sort of mechanism that is basically used by news organizations to kind of pass off advertisements. This is more or less news. And so it's really hard to notice it on face value because it's so polished, it's so structured, it's so organized. But it's something that is being used by organizations like the New York Times, basically for revenue. And it's really interesting and in a way sad to kind of see that, but it kind of shows how kind of with social media, kind of with, Google ads and stuff like that, it's kind of just another element of just with the news business, just trying to be more relevant, try to keep those advertising dollars up. And, part of that is through social media, but there's a lot of other different avenues that happens through as well. And native advertising is an example of that.
Yeah. Because nobody buys newspapers anymore. It's so weird. Like, I remember one day I was at work. I work at Target at 98, and I heard this lady. She asked if we had newspapers. Now my instant thought was, no, ma'am, we do not have newspapers. But I went and looked for her anyway just to be sure. But yeah, no newspapers. So.
Yeah, and it's really interesting too because with the newspaper business, we do have newspapers as well, but oftentimes with my job with journalism, basically part of what that entails is I do write stories, but as audience engagement manager, something I do is I also collect newspapers and deliver them. And basically with the analytics that we do, especially kind of analyzing how newspapers are picked up, because we do have a drop-off location in Siena Hall. What's interesting is for college newspapers, especially here, like we do have a lot of engagement. We have a lot of engagement on our website for the student prints. And for this particular building, we have a lot of people pick up newspapers. We've started off at 30 newspapers in this building at the beginning of the semester, and we've risen it up to 55. And this has definitely been the building that's picked up the most newspapers. However, I will admit that on a lot of other areas of campus, there's almost little to no engagement. I guess a lot of people just aren't as familiar with what the student prints is in a way, which you might kind of find surprising. A lot of people just might not just have the time to read stories, things of that nature, and there is definitely that shift of being it more popular on social media. Again, kind of like what you were talking about earlier.
Right.
Just because we do have an Instagram, we've definitely picked up traffic with that. We do have a Twitter, we definitely picked up traffic with that really throughout the semester. And the reason why we do that is just because that's the way that our audience is really just becoming more engaged with the news. We still are going to have a print newspaper. We're not saying that, hey, we're going to axe the newspaper. But at the same time, we've also understood that our audience is also more engaged with other forms of receiving the news. And part of that is social media. So that is very interesting and very true.
Yeah. And I guess from the student prints, right?
Yeah.
I guess for a social media standpoint, the best move would definitely be Twitter.
Yeah.
Because in my point of view, anytime I think of a social media platform that has news or any relevant news on it, I always think about Twitter.
Yeah.
Just because it's a constant feed, and it seems like on there people are either super serious or super playful.
Yeah.
And it's actually writing the entire time. So
yeah. But yeah, very true, and we are definitely active on Twitter. But I guess enough for the journalism realm of things, and just I guess in a way even the business school realm of things. I'm just curious just about maybe just USM in general. What's it kind of been like being at USM these last few years? The experience of everything, just because I feel like that's what the audience is interested in. I've referenced that I've gone to USM plenty of times on the episodes, and I think it's about time that we talk about USM, the school, right?
okay, so my freshman year of being at USM was good. It was great. I made some mistakes that year that I probably won't talk about. But all in all, it was a good year. It was really great. And then COVID happened, and that ruined everything. I think I was in the middle of, or no, last semester of my freshman year. It was March of 2020. So when that happened, we all had to go home and everything, and trying to learn online that quickly was it was horrible. I was sitting there trying to learn while also having to deal with 4 younger siblings.
Yeah.
And parents that argued all the time, so it was just constant noise and noise. But I made it through alive, we made it. As far as I know, nobody in my family ever caught COVID or has caught COVID since. And then once we actually came back, things weren't normal, but they were normal, right? So last semester, we were able to come back to campus, but everything was still online, right? I think a few people had maybe 1 or 2 in-person classes, but for the most part, it was very online. You got to be in your room or be at a library or something somewhere so you can learn properly. And so that was interesting because I was transferring from kinesiology major to exercise science, or kinesiology to finance major. So I was trying to learn everything. It was a complete 180 of how my brain had to function, but my brain, I guess, naturally functioned that way because I picked up on it kind of quick. And then aside from the schooling part, I used to always go to the gym on campus. And so when that last semester happened, it was very different to go into that gym and see barely any machines in there. Only 2 or 3 people could be in a certain area at one time, and it's I couldn't work out how I wanted to work out because I either had to wait on people or I had to just say I can't do that exercise today because it's going to be too long of a wait. And then the food. Freshman year food was better. The sophomore year, I'm not even gonna talk about the food. It was a bad experience. I do not recommend the food unless you. Well, okay, let me take that back. Sometimes the food can be pretty good. Sometimes it can. Sometimes it's give or take. Wednesdays and Fridays good because Wednesdays fried chicken. They make good fried chicken. Fridays I think they normally do catfish. That's hit or miss. So.
You know, what's interesting is that I actually heard a similar kind of take on the cafeteria as well. I haven't eaten there a lot. I've eaten in the cafeteria once in the spring semester of last school year, and once the very first day of this semester. And both times, I must admit, the experience hasn't been really too impressive. But what I've heard from other students is that they said, hey, cafeteria was good freshman year. It was a lot better freshman year.
They had these chicken tenders, man, and I promise you, they were rival Canes.
Oh my goodness!
They were great. Well, okay, I won't say they were rival Canes, but if you didn't want to go spend $10 at a meal at Canes, you could definitely settle for the chicken tenders they had.
Yeah.
But for some reason they stopped, and it was just like in such a high demand. Everybody wanted those chicken tenders. They had like their own special sauce and everything that was great. So I miss those chicken tenders.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like what you were saying with the also just with the online element as well with classes and just like kind of having to stop everything. Even though I was at another university at the time, it was a similar situation. It just kind of threw everybody off, and then kind of even going into Southern Miss with that kind of experience, it was still kind of weird as well because it was just like, this just does not feel like what I signed up for. And then kind of go into junior year. I don't know if this was the experience for you. You just kind of sit here and just like, I really don't feel like a junior. Would you say that's kind of the same thing for you, or?
Yeah. I in terms of credit hours, I am a junior, but I was put a semester behind. Like I said, so I mean, I guess technically now I'm still technically a sophomore, sort of, kind of. But no, I do not feel like I've been at this been at this college for 3 years. I feel like last year was basically robbed from me. So it's very hard to say that I've been here for going on 3 years now.
Yeah. It's like for me, it's kind of funny. It's just like, I feel like even now, like I did not have the proper freshman year. And it's just like, I still think about that. It's just like, I did not have the right freshman experience that I wanted to. Don't get me wrong. I did a lot my freshman year of college, but it was just the thing where it's just like, you just did not have that closure that you wanted.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, it was the same for me. I think I went to one football game, and we were actually pretty decent that game, so I should have went more.
Right. Yeah, let's not even talk about them this season.
God, it's a headache. It is a headache.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it might just be better maybe with more recruitment. I know Will Hall's talked about that, but it's just, yeah, it was tough to watch. I told myself after the UTEP game, I said, look, I'm not going to come to another USM football game until they win one. And then I said, I'm not even going to bother to go to UAB because we all know how that's going to end.
We've lost, I think, from what I've heard, we've always lost to UAB.
That's not surprising, though, because with UAB, it's just like they've consistently been a good football program because 2 of the last 3 years they've won the CUSA championship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will they be in the CUSA for the foreseeable future? Like us, it's doubtful. But
they'll probably get moved to the SEC here in a little while.
Yeah, or the AAC.
I feel like the AAC is probably a little more. SEC, that's kind of a push there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to try to compete with Alabama. They would probably be in the likes of Vanderbilt. Yeah. As good as they have a football team, they just couldn't be on that quite level. Not quite yet. They need more talent and just, yeah.
Talent, coaching, everything. And I'm not knocking, those players or anything. Like, they're way more talented at their sport than I am, for sure. So,
yeah.
But yeah, our team sucks.
I mean, I remember it's just like, I think honestly for you though, what you could probably do is I could see you just be like, just get on the field, just be a tight end. You could probably be pretty good football player. Seriously.
People have told me, you should be a tight end. You should be a tight end. Like, no, man. I played football 1 year, and that was in middle school, and they had me on I think it was right tackle.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was tall. I was like one of the tallest kids, and at the time I was kind of chubby. So they were like, "You're gonna play right tackle." I'm like, "Cool, whatever." But then it moved so slow to where I felt like I was just like stuck in place all day.
Yeah.
I didn't like that because the next season that came up was basketball season. I was on the basketball team. Loved basketball. It was quick. I was always moving around. I was always doing something or trying to do something. And so I quit football and just stuck to basketball. I got some basketball regrets as well. I definitely should have worked harder than I did, but yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't as too much into sports when I was in high school. I did band, but like I did football in 1 year in middle school. I did taekwondo when I was much younger, but honestly, I feel like this is the same thing for everybody. It's just like you know what? For me, I was in like band, and I was like, you know what? I should have practiced more. I really should have. And would I still be playing the trombone now if I practice more? Maybe not, but I should have done a little bit more.
Yeah. It was the same for me because going into my junior year, I had 2 injuries back to back that kind of scared me.
Right.
From wanting to play how I used to play. It was like ever since then, like up until like my senior year, like the entire junior year of high school, I was a shell of myself of what I was like, who I was like coming into the mid to end of my sophomore year. That junior year, I was like that player didn't ever come out again until my senior year, and I started playing like how I used to play and just full of energy and just going, making my shots and everything. So, man, it was in my opinion, it was kind of sad.
Yeah.
Because I knew how good I could have been if I wouldn't have lost confidence and if I would have kept working on my craft how I was. Then who knows? I probably would have been playing basketball here or at some other school or something right now. But hey, never know.
But I do have one question though. Can you dunk?
I used to. I haven't played basketball in a while. So all I do is like work out now.
Right.
So my jumping ability has like basically plummeted.
Right.
I was at a point to where, coming up, I would always get the ball above the rim. It's just I struggled on actually putting it through.
Right.
I could never hold on to the ball long enough to put it through. I have decently sized hands, but my hands aren't massive. So when I go up there, I would try and dunk. I would either lose the ball, or I put it through a couple times.
Right.
So I can't say that I can't or I could dunk. But I was mainly like a shooter, coming off screens or going into the junior year. I was getting to the point where I could create my own shot, like off the dribble.
Okay.
But that, like I said, that kind of faded away once I injured myself and I lost confidence in my body and my ability to do things.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I did not know you played basketball. That is pretty cool, actually.
I did play basketball. Actually, I played basketball. When like high school, it was they won state championship, or they went undefeated my senior year, and it was great. Like I was so happy for all the guys and everything. And what's his name? Nakobe Dean. He plays for Georgia now. He's a good guy. That's all I gotta say. Me and him used to be friends. We kind of just grew apart a little bit after a while, and things happen.
Right. Very true.
But yeah.
Yeah, that is really cool. Maybe we have to see how this basketball team goes for this season, but who knows? Maybe it can be a walk-on.
No, I ain't got time now.
Yeah, maybe.
Actually, I have managerial accounting with one of the players. Actually, seems to be a pretty cool guy. He's about 6'9". saw him. I was like, holy crap, man! And I was like, you are tall. He's like, yeah, I'm 6'9". I was like, oh,
Yeah.
damn, I thought I was kind of tall.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely had some classes with some athletes. For my Management 300 class, there's a couple football players. I've had classes in the past. You know, I remember when I was a freshman, I had basically an entry level journalism class, like journalism, media, history kind of class. And
Right.
so it was a class that not just people within the major of journalism took, but basically other majors took because they thought it was like an easy elective.
Mhm.
And basically there was like at least 2 or 3 players in that class that I took. So that took that class with me. So yeah, it's kind of interesting kind of being in class with athletes and maybe even just talking with them because they are pretty cool people. So yeah.
For the most part, like, and I can't really say that because I don't really talk to people all that often. I'm always just
Right.
gotta go here, gotta go there. Always got something I have to do.
Right, same here.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. It really is. I'm glad that we do at least have some type of sports teams, even if they're not that good sometimes. You know, it kind of does, like, you know, you can go to the game and, you know, just watch. And if you're a really big fan of the sport, like how I am with basketball, I'll go to a game and I'll see like, oh no, you should have went here, you should have did that, you should have did this, and I'll be doing that the entire game. And I'll just get zoned into it. My girlfriend gets so upset at me. She's like, you know, this is supposed to be a game or a time where we can like spend time with each other. You know,
Wow.
talk to me. I'm like, I'm watching the game. But you know,
Yeah, that's hilarious.
you know, you gotta do with happy wife, happy life, man.
Right.
That's I definitely believe that motto. It's ever since following that motto, my life has been so much easier.
Yeah, but that does beg a question. How'd you meet her?
Freshman year of high school,
Oh, so yeah, how long have y'all been dating?
5 years.
Wow.
I first met her in middle school.
Okay.
I remember this, and she doesn't remember it, but I remember it.
Oh, okay.
I think it was 7th grade year. I was coming in from basketball practice because that year we had basketball practice early in the morning. Like,
Right.
first thing in the morning. So I was coming in from basketball practice, walking through the side entrance of her where her classrooms and stuff were at. I saw her at her locker, and I thought she was really cute. But at the time, I was very like non-confident because growing up, girls used to always call me ugly and this and that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Which could have been true. I've been told that I've blossomed a little bit. I don't really know, but so yeah, I saw her and I thought she was cute, and then I also just wasn't very confident in myself, so I just kept going. Then freshman year, she broke up with her boyfriend, and I had to talk to her, and it worked out. It almost didn't work out because at the time, Kick was very popular. So I tried to give her my Kick, but I gave her the wrong information. And by like luck or whatever it was, she decided to ask Kobe, who at the time me and him were very cool. She asked him like what my Kick and stuff was, and I was like, and he told her and everything, and I was so happy that he did that. Like he has no idea how happy I am that he did that. So.
What yeah, that's great. 5 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And based off what you said with happy wife, happy life, what does that mean? It's really interesting. Okay.
One of these days, I'm saving for it
Okay.
at the moment, but gonna get an engagement ring for her.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Really, that's great to hear.
She has done wonders for me in my life. So
wow.
More than like I tell her all the time, but it's more than she'll ever really understand and know.
Did she go to USM?
She does.
Oh wow.
She is a nursing student here. Actually.
Oh okay, wow. So I guess this was her first year of nursing school.
Yeah, this is currently her first semester.
Oh wow, I bet she's very busy as well.
She is extremely busy, and she's handling it pretty well though, and I'm very proud of her for that because we came into the semester expecting her to not only be busy, but like be super stressed about everything.
Yeah.
And maybe I have a feeling that some of it's kind of like from her mom, because mom's a nurse as well.
Okay.
That Brianna, her name is Brianna, she's able to pick it up a little bit easier. She still does struggle. She still stays up late at night studying and everything, but it's definitely been like, I'm very, very proud of her for what she's been doing so far.
Wow.
So, yeah, man. I feel like a dad almost. Like that.
Wow, that really is so sweet though. Wow, that's great. Thank you for sharing that with me and the audience. That's
Thanks,
absolutely
man.
great.
I almost forgot that we were doing podcast.
But yeah, that's perfect, really. I guess you have any other plans? Maybe go to a fair, or do anything over the break or anything?
I'll be working.
Oh, okay.
Because right now, I stay in the Eagle Flats, so I have to pay the rent, and I got a car, so I got car note and car insurance as well.
Right.
And I'm also trying to finish paying off the rest of my last little credit card.
Right.
While also trying to build a
credit
an emergency fund.
Oh, okay.
And invest. So I'm trying to juggle all these things with my money, and it's very difficult because there's a lot of things I want to buy.
Yeah.
I see things, and I wanted to go get more, suits and dress shirts for the suit. I'm like, that's too expensive. I can't afford that.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, in a way, I'm kind of a sucker for, not like just like, Nike, Jordans or anything, but I'm a sucker for good clothing as well and good, pieces and things to wear. Like I'm wearing this ring. This is like.
I wanted to ask you about that. I like it. What's it for?
This is basically a compass ring. It's from Balanzi. For people listening on, this is actually gonna have a link in the description for this video, and if you use that link and also put in the promotional code, you get 25% off your order. But yeah, but yeah, this is a ring I got from Balanzi. Basically, I actually am partnering with them as a brand ambassador, and essentially they're based in London. I also had a necklace that I've been wearing. I didn't wear it yesterday or today, but basically this is just a compass, north, south, east, west. You can look at it if you like. But yeah, definitely.
It feels nice.
Oh yeah, of course. And plus, I remember I ordered the wrong size for the ring, and like I got an 8, and I'm like, really just like a 12 or 13, so I got the size way wrong. But they were very good with it. They said, hey, keep the ring, we'll just send you a new one. And they did that, and they really did come in clutch. And I also like the necklace as well. I should have brought that today, I don't know.
Tomorrow when we're in class, show it. So I can see it and everything.
Oh yeah, of course. I'll be sure to do that. And I guess kind of as we kind of have this impromptu commercial, everybody, again, the code will be in the description for this podcast episode, as well as the link to go to Balanzi. Just put in Garrett25, GARRET25, and you'll get 25% off your order. But yeah, but like I was saying, I'm kind of a sucker for just kind of nice articles and things like that. And you probably see the watch I got on right now.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice watch.
Yeah.
I like the watch. I'm a watch guy myself. I didn't wear my watch today, but I like good watches.
Yeah.
They're very nice to buy.
Yeah, I told you I'd show you out. You still have the nicer getup, but at least I showed you it on the watch game.
Yeah. Your watch is
immaculate.
I really, really like the watch.
Yeah, this is a Citizen, and I do love this watch as well. But yeah, sometimes we can all be a sucker for certain articles and certain items. I guess kind of going back to what we were talking about. But yeah, I can respect that because obviously I see that you're trying to kind of build a path forward for yourself financially, make sure that you got all of your ducks in a row, especially going into the future, especially going to get that engagement ring as well. So, definitely are looking well into the future, well beyond junior year and senior year and probably even college for that matter.
Yeah, I do. This is part of the reason for the audience. Y'all probably don't know this, but almost every day I dress up mainly in a suit. I might lower it down a little bit and be a tad bit more casual. But for the most part, I'm always in a suit. And that's because I believe in manifesting things, manifesting where I want to be in the future. And I visualize myself as the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Not quite sure what company that's going to be yet. I have a couple in mind, but we'll see how that works. But yeah, I do that. Plus, I just like the suits. They look nice. They feel pretty comfortable. So
yeah. And by tone down, he just means like taking off his tie. He basically wears everything else, people.
yeah, every now and again I'll come in with like a polo shirt with some chinos maybe, and that's mainly what I mean by tone down.
Right.
Unless I go to the gym, of course, but
right. You probably got a polo sweater on then, or
no, just literally just t-shirt, shorts, or t-shirt and like jogging pants or something like that. Just something very, very plain. Just go in, get my workout done, get out. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Oh, you are totally good. But yeah, I guess kind of close out everything though. I was just kind of wanted to just talk about the very fact again going to USM, just kind of the prognosis more or less. What would you say has kind of been your experience with the people, with the program, with athletics, food? How would you kind of rate everything?
As a total, I would give USM maybe an 8.5 or a 9. Just because overall, even though the food can be hit or miss, the teams recently have not been very good. The schooling is good. I've realized like the teachers here, like they really, or teachers, professors, instructors, whatever you want to call them, they really do care about you and your grades and your success. So whenever I was in high school, my teachers always said, "Oh, your college professors are not gonna care if you're late." Da da da. Like they care.
Yeah.
They do. As long as you let them know, like ahead of time, like, hey, something came up. I need like maybe an extra day or two,
right,
or just a couple of days just to help get some of the work done. They're most of the time they're more than willing to help you out. Now you might get a couple professors here and there, where it's like, no, you have plenty of time. I give you a week, and you still couldn't get it done. And I'm like, well, you're not my only class, so
yeah,
you know. But yeah, for the most part, I would give USM 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 because good food spots right near campus. Great food spots, and the campus is big enough but not small. If for the most part, this is a really nice looking campus. Like if you go on a walk with friends, significant others, whoever it may be, or just by yourself, you are more likely to calm down, or whatever. You're gonna enjoy the walk, basically. So
right.
I'd give it 8.5 or 9 out of 10.
Hey, I have to do the same, and I feel like that was a good prognosis as well, just because I know for USM, what it's really given me the opportunity to do is it's giving me the opportunity to kind of branch into things that I might not have been able to do at Sanford as easily or as readily or even at all. And what's really nice about this school is it's expansive, but it's not exactly big. It's kind of more or less kind of put together and kind of well connected, but not exactly small. And that definitely is an advantage. And that's definitely served dividends and paid dividends, really going into my major with journalism, even going with the business school, because I definitely have people I talk to even with the business school as well. So it's just like, there's a lot of truth to that.
It really is. And like it's been surprisingly good. And honestly, like if they had my MBA that I'm searching for, I would probably stayed here and did another. Got my master's here, but they don't have my MBA, so I'll probably go to another school for that one. But it is what it is. But all in all, I love this campus. I love this school. It's really, really nice.
Yeah. I do too, and I think this is a perfect end of the episode. I hope you kind of got something from the episode as well. For those listening on right now, Wesley was just a great person to talk to, and I'm so appreciative of the fact that he decided to show up, show out, and definitely outdress me, of course. I tried, I really did, but he definitely practices what he preaches, and he really does dress like this to every single class, and I have a lot of respect for that. He really does say a lot about where he views himself going forward, especially how he has confidence within himself. And despite whatever issues you said that you had with self-confidence, I don't think those are evident now, especially because...
I've definitely worked on them throughout the years.
Yeah.
Because, I really started working on them when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
That's whenever I started noticing my confidence rise, because I was working out, feeling more confident in my body.
Yeah. Then
I started to dress a little bit better. And I recently, very recently, like this semester is when I started actually dressing like this.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to do something that kind of spoke to what I wanted and who I was. So.
Hey, it shows. And just for those listening on right now, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Wesley, for just adding to the conversation. It was a pleasure as always. And hey, don't forget to just share this podcast if you are on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, to follow the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe. But either way, share with people you know. We want this podcast to blow up, and look, we're going to continue to make some great episodes. Wesley was just a great person to just add to just the other list of great people who've been on the show, and we'll continue to have. But seriously, thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay prosperous.
This is...